Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is the first video in a series where I'm going to be going over the basic early game things that you should be able to do within about an hour of gameplay on Starscape. In this episode I'm basically going to be just covering the tutorials and a few extra bits and bobs for the first maybe hour or so. And then I'm going to cover some other things like basic combat, and probably gonna get up to a point where you would be able to grind a Corvette in about, well, I don't know how long, but you'll be able to grind a Corvette in a reasonable amount of time. Be going over multiple things, including combat and hauling of different types, and then mining and where's best to, and some other generic information. I guess let's go on into the universe. I'm using one of my alts. I've already used one of them because recording failed. Anyway, I'll let this run. Alright, now, character creation, pretty simple, 2 body types, the skin colors. I'm going to do mine really quick. I think you can edit this later on, so if you think it's not great, then go ahead and just change it. You can do it at any cloning bay that you have access to, as far as I'm aware. Anyway, just quickly do mine. Yeah. Pretty quick, about a minute or two, unless it's your first time and you don't know all the options, and then it might take about 5 minutes or so. Now, as soon as you get out, wait a little bit, and this will appear. This is the basic start of game tutorial, and in either order you'll get both a Stratos notification in the bottom right and a thing getting started. Welcome to Starscape. Now, follow this entire tutorial. Follow the steps in this introductory mission, learn about the game, and receive a starting bonus of 500 credits. Once you've walked to about this threshold, you'll go on to the next thing. The Citadel is the central hub of activity in the galaxy. It has plenty of station services to support all the pilots who pass through here every day. It has almost every single thing in the entire game. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna follow this. I think this also goes as I go to another level. Yeah, once you get to the docking bay, it'll go on. Now that we're on the docking level, we need to spawn your ship. Walk into a docking bay and go to the blue terminal. It says on the right, but they've updated it and it's now centrally located instead of just round the corner. So it's right here. Open the terminal by hovering over it. icon and pressing the indicated button. Now, for pretty much anything in the game, the indicated button will be F. It used to be E, which is one reason why I will say the indicated button. There's also a couple other pretty more rare things which will not say that, but will say something else. Now, let's do this. You should have a ship, the Stratos. Click on the tile for the Stratos and press the spawn button that appears in the lower right corner. To fly your ship, walk over to it and jump into the open section, then walk onto the pilot seat and sit down and start flying. It can be a little buggy at this part. Now I'm gonna show you another way. The usually easier way is, let's assume I've spawned my ship in just now. You can just walk within so far, and once the F lights up, press F and you can go into it. It's much easier and doesn't have any real glitches. Use your mouse to control the direction of flight, like this, which is basically your pitch and yaw. W and S will speed up and slow down your ship. A and D will roll you left and right. There's a couple other things. Once you get outside, I'll go on to this. To test out your piloting skills, we need to go to a nearby asteroid field to mine some more. Now, at this point, I've been going based off of this. But now, you gotta have a look up here and do what this says. Make sure you look at both. Travel to the asteroid field by holding spacebar, moving your mouse to highlight ring, and then release the spacebar. It's pretty simple. This is the quick warp menu. Very useful. It'll say this later on. It is used to warp, pretty sure, literally anywhere in the game. You can use the maps to do that, but it's usually easier to do it differently. Point your ship at a Coralite or Recnite asteroid and fire your lasers until a piece of ore breaks off, then fly into the piece of ore to collect it. Shoot at a Coralite or Recnite asteroid, yeah, then fly into it, and then it'll tell you whether you've done it yet. This is pretty simple. There's these asteroids. These hold no ore. You can't do anything with them. They're pointless, really. They just exist there because it's a ring, an asteroid ring. Well, not really an asteroid ring, but yeah. If it's got these, like, blemishes or dots or whatever you want to call them on the asteroid, then it'll have some kind of ore. It should also have this little indicator that'll pretty much always appear if you're close to it and you're not moving. And you're hovering over the small dot. Now, Recnite is this kind of orangey rust colour. And Coralite is a pretty white colour. They can both be found in the ring as Coralite inferior or Recnite inferior. You basically shoot at it until one of these comes off and go into it. Mining asteroids, great job. Keep mining until you've collected 4 more pieces of ore. Now what? Well, just do the same thing. A pretty useless piece of advice, but it might be useful at some point, is only use your guns until something comes off, because you can get slightly more shots every single minute. It's time to return to the space station to sell your ore. You can get there by holding spacebar to bring up the quick warp menu and selecting warp hub. This is the basic planetary warp system for a single planet. That it's shown you so far. Before you can sell your ore, you need to land in a docking bay and get out of your ship. Enter the purple docking shield and bring your ship to a complete stop on the floor of the docking bay. The reason I'm reading these and telling you exactly what to do. Is some people don't understand the tutorial, and other people have already done the tutorial and have come back after playing it for a long time. Now that you're out your ship, go to the marketplace on the upper level to sell the ore in your inventory. So, just a couple of bits is, lower level is below the docking bay, upper level is above the docking bay. I've gone into, docking bay 2. Docking bay 1 will lead to a door to the upper level, docking bay 3 will lead to a door to the lower level. In between manufacturing and repair bay is where the lower level door is. If you go on the opposite side of the citadel, then you will find the upper level door. Open the market terminal. You can open a terminal by hovering over its icon and pressing the indicated button. Go up to the market terminal and open it to sell your ore. Basically, just walk up to it, press F, then click the inventory tab, click on the ore, click sell item, and then sell it. You've earned your first credits. With credits, you can purchase items from marketplaces across the galaxy. Buy a shirt and a pair of pants to look more presentable. Now, I'm pretty sure these used to cost 5, which is why you get 10 credits for this. But it doesn't anymore, so you're going to be 10 credits below the actual 2,500 you get by the end of all of the tutorials. Buy a shirt and a pair of pants. Pretty simple. This one definitely, and this one. Choose whatever you want, but I have a standard set of things, which is just these two, because they're pretty basic and dark. Good work, now let's put the clothes on. Open your inventory by pressing the I key. This is what I was opening earlier. Select the shirt tile and equip it to your character by pressing the blue equip button. You can equip this, and then you can do the same with the shirt. Here, I should do that. Now, you can actually use shift click on these. Looking good. Over time you'll acquire more items you can equip, such as new clothes, weapons, and armor. Close the inventory by pressing the I key. You can press the I key, or you can click the X up in the top right. You've learned how to fly, make money, and buy items. 3 of the most important skills in Starscape. But there's one more thing you'll need to know if you want to become a master pilot. The universe of Starscape is vast and full of opportunity. Open the galaxy map by pressing M, the M key. There is loads of systems. There's 4,000-ish in the game. Most of them are purple wild systems. I'll be explaining this more later. Probably in another episode, mostly. So yeah. In Starscape, the universe is a sandbox. You can go to any of thousands of star systems using a warp drive. All you have to do is click on one of the neighboring systems and press the warp button while you're in a ship. This concludes the introductory tutorial. The universe is yours. 500 credits. Now you have 990 credits if you got 5 Coralite and sold all of it. You can get a different amount depending on whether you get Coralite or Arachnite and how much of it you sell. But I recommend you just sell all of it because the other things will give you stuff. Whatever. Doing what it says at the top, press I to open the inventory, click the mission tab. You now have loads of these. Right, tutorial missions. These additional tutorials will introduce you to more aspects of gameplay. They are optional, but very much recommended for new players. This is essentially what the first part of the series, this entire episode, is built around. Yeah. To make a mission show up in your mission tracker, click it in the mission list to select it, then click on the track mission button at the bottom right of the screen. Right, so I'm going to quickly stop tracking these. You can do the same as track by stop tracking, just because I want one tutorial at once to make it a little clearer. Switch the skill thing, it's set up here. Read the tutorial messages. This screen shows you all of your skills. There are 4 different skill constellations, which is what skill trees are called in this, just to be fancy basically, or nice. Combat here, which essentially affects any damage stuff, as well as a couple other things to do with scrap from ships. You then got industry, which is to do with stuff like mining, refining, and crafting. Then there's commerce to do with things such as missions and doing hauling, pretty much. There's also a little bit of stuff on cargo, which can be used in mining as well. And then there's exploration, which is just kind of some generic things, which I'll go into later in the series, most likely. Next, you earn skill points naturally by performing actions in the game. Training skills will improve your abilities in a certain aspect of gameplay. Now, just before you switch to the career tab, I will say that the question mark will tell you most of the ways that you get the experience. I don't remember if there's any extra ways, and I don't remember whether the ways actually are 100% correct. But there's a 99% chance that everything in these question marks will be correct. Destroying NPC and player ships, basically destroying ships. Industry, mining asteroids, refining items, manufacturing items. I've got 5 skill points from going ahead and mining 5 ore. Buying and selling spice, delivering trade union and syndicate supply crates. That's what TU and SIN means. SIN with a Y, by the way. Completing hauling missions is another way you get it. With exploration, it is warping, basically. Visiting new systems, and I think places, scanning anomalies and hacking containers. Which is basically the stuff that this enhances. Talk about that later. Anyway, under the career tab. In the career screen, you can view your military service status, standing with factions, earned titles, and gameplay statistics. Alright, to begin with, you will only have 2 options for titles, but you'll earn more by playing the game and gaining standing with factions, as well as just being good at stuff. In the skills tree, the more skills point you spend, the higher a title you can get. So you can get like Rookie Miner, Adept Miner, Miner, Master Miner, Veteran Miner, stuff like that. And then it's the same for stuff like Pirate and Hunter and other things, which will relate to different things that you do in the game. To begin with, you will only have 2 options though, which is pilot and no title. The career screen lets you see statistics from across your time playing Starscape, such as total kills, asteroids mined, and time played, right here. This is the stats bit. Space kills, ground kills, your deaths. You visit systems, warps, probes, launched, ore collected, and asteroids depleted, which is essentially when an asteroid runs out of ore and it just vaporizes, pretty much. Shatters, whatever you want to call it. Items crafted, cargo sold, time played. That's the amount of time you've had on the game. This is the amount of cargo that you've sold. I don't know whether that takes into account missions. I don't think it does, but it might. And then items crafted at manufacturing. You can view your standing with various factions in the game. Click on the Corsac title to learn more about that faction. I will say there's supposed to be a little outline flashing here on the Corsac thing. Oh. It seems to want you to press enter before you click on it. In the faction view, you can read about the background of each of the factions and see a more detailed view of your standing with the faction. You can also see the faction rewards at the bottom. These rewards will be available to you at a faction field office after you reach the tier for each reward. Alright, come out of this. Switch to the shops screen by clicking shop at the top of the game menu. In the shop screen, you can choose to purchase cosmetics such as ship skins or engine trail colors using Robux to support the game's development. Please note this is now Stardust. The way... read this first. All Robux purchases in Starscape are purely cosmetic. No player will ever gain advantage for paying money. Now, before we go on to the next thing, it's Stardust. Up here, there is this kind of star-looking thing, which is the Stardust currency and how much you have right now. Click on it, and every single approximately 24 hours, it's actually 23 hours 30 minutes as far as I'm aware, you'll get it. You'll get 5 Stardust. Now, you can also buy it. The most expensive it gets is 1 Robux to 1 Stardust. The least expensive it gets is 4k Robux to 5k Stardust. I've never had that many Robux. But it's the most efficient. That's pretty nice. It's what, 1.25 Stardust to a Robux. Or 4 Robux to 5 Stardust. Yeah. Essentially here there is Starscape used to purchase premium items such as vanity ships, cosmetics, outfits, and cybernetics in the game shop. Nothing you buy with Stardust will give you an advantage over other players. Please note, cybernetics, outfits, and vanity ships are all unavailable currently. Cosmetics are the only things available, but there are a pretty large amount of them which you can get. So yeah, that includes skins, symbols, engine trails, and laser colors, as far as I'm aware. You can earn Stardust by claiming daily login bonuses every 23 hours and 30 minutes, doing daily missions, not in the game yet, and from achievements earned at gameplay milestones. Don't exactly know what that means. If you need more Stardust, you can purchase it here. It's already said. These are all the cosmetics. So, engine, you've got neon trails, which are basic engine trails of one color, ice skins, which are essentially white and blue or white and red, then solid laser colors, which are some pretty basic laser colors: white, pink, purple, blue, cyan, green, yellow, orange, red. Then there's some fancy symbols, stuff like 7 or an asteroid or an integrated circuit or a black diamond or the atomic theory one. Then there's gradient trails, which start off as one and gradient into another. So like the green fade, which goes from the standard kind of blue looking engine color into the green. It's a cyan color for some reason on this though, in the preview at least. Then there's nebula skins, which are essentially just dark, slightly grainy, cool version skins. As you see, Starlines, which is premium ships, Cybermods, which is cybernetics, and outfits are coming soon. Now on to the rest. Settings. I put these up because I can. Then put it on Ultra, because it doesn't change much. It doesn't reduce lag, it doesn't increase lag, not at least in the Citadel, which is the only thing I've currently properly tested it with. In this menu, you will find options such as volume, graphics, quality, and invitation permissions. Graphics. Comms chatter is a thing which I can get onto a little later. There's invert the flight camera, which can be a bit weird. Then warship pitch. Then there's some warnings in the game to tell you things about systems. There's then show flight controls. And then there's requests and invites. So people can invite you to squads, factions. They can invite you to duels and trades. I'll talk about them later. Now open the faction thing. Basically, factions are expensive, in-game way of formally grouping with others and organizing things. You can set allies and enemies, raise funds, post updates, and more. You can get advanced features, tags. Currently, there is inconveniently no one in the player list with a tag. If I can find one, I'll show you. Level 2 gets you a tag. Level 3 gets you a symbol and a skin. They cost credits instead of Stardust. Anyway, on the next one. If you don't want to run your own faction, you can join others. But you have to ask them to join, or they have to ask you to join. So it's not the best, but it kind of works as a system. Now open the squad tab. You can create a squad and invite other players to it from this menu. Please tell me someone's on. fix it. Anyway, if someone was online, then I'd be able to show you something. But quickly, I am just going to invite everyone to the server. Now, when you're in your inventory, you can click on people's names in the player list, and there'll be options such as squad, faction info, attack player, and faction. If they're in a player faction, view faction info just essentially tells you the leader, how many members, a description if it has one, the name of it, and the relation. If you are in a faction, then it will tell you what relations you have with them. If you're an ambassador or the leader, then you will be able to set the relation. Yeah, I recommend you don't do this, because it annoys people. But I'm doing this purely because if anyone accepts, I'll be able to show you good things. Your name will look purple. Good, someone accepted. They might not know what the hell this is. Your name will show purple if you're in a squad. And you'll be able to click on their name in the squad tab, and it'll show you their name, where they are. If they're in a ship, there'll be a blue and red one. Blue is for shield, red is for health, hull, and that's the amount out of their total shield and hull of how much they have currently. If it's green, that's how much health they have on the ground. I'll show you them as purple, and if you go on the map, then it'll show you. That was not coordinated at all. Anyway, I'm going to leave the squad right now and make another if necessary later. If you're in a faction, people in the same faction will appear green to you unless they are in a squad with you. This menu, the item directory, by clicking this book, is an extremely useful thing. It can show you pretty much anything. Most of the things in the game, apart from unobtainable items, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, like the Fargo. The Fargo is a ship that still exists, and I have it on my main account. But it's unobtainable. Pretty much any obtainable item in the entire game is here. There are a couple bits which aren't possible. Like Zero Alpha, the rarest skin in the game, technically according to the game, because it's a legendary tier. Then Rainbow, which isn't sold anymore. That's kind of rare. Orange Junk for Halloween 2020. There's essentially things through stuff like Blood Red, Bright Alpha, Candy Corn, Dark Alpha, One Alpha, Orange Junk, Patriotic Trail, Rainbow, and Zero Alpha. All of this is unobtainable anymore. Unless you hack the game. Please don't, though. Please don't. You will probably get banned. It's like the only thing Cat does ban people now. I guess he develops, but yeah. It's like the only thing you see properly happening. Like someone freaking hacks in all of the unobtainable cosmetics, they get banned. Someone did that about a month ago, and they got banned. So yeah, don't do that. Anyway, it shows you pretty much everything. Now, finally, N for the solar system map. The system map shows you the layout of the systems you are. The system that you are in, like the quick warp menu, it displays the information on every warpable object in the system to you. If you're in a turret, then someone might be at a mission, and you can warp to the same mission as them. Essentially, this is the system view, which will show you the planets and the stars. The stars are unwarpable, but yeah. It'll show you the planets as well. Here, there'll be like warp hub, any anomalies at the planet, also known as aberrations or deposits or X structures, and a ring if there is one, like here for a citadel. You can click on these, or you can click on this button, which will bring you to a planetary map, which will show you where the warp points are, and then the planet in a little more detail, and some information which is basically useless in my opinion. It's viewable in both. None of these actually tell you anything useful, apart from a few things about warping, which are extremely advanced and I have not been able to figure out yet, and I have 600 hours in this game. It's also because I can't be bothered to. Anyway, that's that about that. It's brought up automatically when you use Scanning Probe as well, by the way. Then 250 credits. Now you've got over 1,000 credits. Wow. Yeah. Now, research. Ignore this for now. Yeah. What shall I do next? Well, it depends. If you're wanting to stay inside of the Citadel, do Welcome to the Galaxy. If you want to do some... Basically, there's a couple things you can do. There's Prepare for Combat, and there's Intro to Manufacturing. Manufacturing is kind of useful. It's pretty good, to be honest. I am going to take Welcome to the Galaxy next, which, funnily enough, is the name of this YouTube video, specifically because it's this mission. It's the most recently added one as far as I'm aware. Essentially, you have to go to the docking bays to find the embassies. All of the embassies are in the docking bays. Now, the Lycentian embassy is in the middle of docking bay 2 and 3. You can read this. Welcome to the Lycentian embassy. My name is Milo Rav, and I head the diplomatic mission for the Lycentian Federation here on the Citadel. I don't believe I've seen you around before. Have you just cloned in? Now, they both essentially say kind of yes. If you do this mission last, the second one's more relevant. The first one is if you just got here, pretty much. I will say, though, doesn't really matter what you pick. Either way, I'm glad you took the time to stop by our bastion of democracy. Are you familiar with the Federation? Now, for all accounts, people usually go to, because I think that skips the stuff that it'll tell you, but I'm not gonna, just because I won't. No, tell me more. The Lycentian Federation is the eldest great power in the galaxy, and the only domain where true freedom exists. While the other great powers exercise authority over their citizens, our power exists by the authority of our people. Our territory is situated about the galactic inner northeast, and when you have the time, you must visit Lycentia Prime. That rhymes. The beauty of our home is unparalleled throughout the galaxy. But while our values of freedom and liberty are great, they have come at a price. You may be familiar with our counterparts, the Falcons. Many years ago, had you uttered that name, no one would have any idea what you were talking about. This is because the Falcons are born of Lycentia. You see, we share a common ancestry. But the Faralkans exploited their autonomy and freedom to undermine the Federation and Seed many years ago. Now we live in a state of war, and while in the past we hoped for reconciliation with and the return of our brethren, that opportunity is long past. The Kavani saw to it that our attention was focused elsewhere while the Falcons grew stronger. Our Navy, the Federal Starfleet, is tasked with protecting our borders and our people from any foreign threats, whether that be Faralkan, Kavani, or drone, or pirate. There are pirate NPCs as well. If what I have said intrigues you, if you wish to defend the galaxy's greatest democracy, our Starfleet is always looking for enlistees. My recruiter friend can assist you there. Federation has been for eons, and through our perseverance and will, it shall be for eons more. Thank you for visiting us, pilot. It's basically just a lore dump in your face about this is the Lycenti boy, and this is the Folkman, and this is the Kavani person, and this is the trade union of absolute capitalism. But not so much capitalism that they violate the law. Hail the Emperor, and welcome. I am Koran Voss, the ambassador to the Citadel for the Faralkan Star Empire. We have never met before, is that correct? That is right. Well, I certainly do not recognize you. If you will allow me to regale you with the story of our great empire. Go ahead. In ages past, the lumbering Lycentian Federation existed without true competition. The Kavani were young, and the drones had not yet become so prolific. Their superiority made them weak. Their children grew up not understanding fear, nor combat, nor the virtue of strength. We saw what was happening. We knew what would happen to us if ever a threat should arise. So we rebelled, led by the great Admiral Hippophoralcus. Now and forever our eternal emperor. He breathed life into this stagnant galaxy, and we won a great victory. Now the galaxy is full of terrors, the drones continuing to get stronger. We were proven right. It is now because of us that humanity has survived this long at all, and it is through us humanity will survive. Our Imperial Armada defends our home from the threat of conquest by the Lycentians. It too pushes back against the drone menace, and our once allies, the Kavani. If you have a desire to fight, if battle is in your blood, then you must join the Armada. With you beside us, we will grow ever stronger. Welcome to the galaxy, pilot. For the Empire! Right, so that's Falcon guy. Greetings, traveler. Okay. I am Sai Zin. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. I speak for the Kavani Mandate on the Citadel. I sense you are new to the galaxy. Yes, I just cloned in. I do not often see new faces around here. Perhaps you would be interested in learning of my people. That used to be false. You used to see people like every single day, every single hour, like a few people every hour, which is a lot of people, but not these days because we only have like 100 players on. Certainly. Perhaps you have met my counterparts, the ambassador from the Federation and the Empire. If you have not yet, I would not bother. Their petty concerns are beneath us. Unlike our competitors, We of the Mandate do not look towards unbridled freedom or wanton combat to find meaning in our lives. Instead, the High Council directs resources towards the continued advancement of our technology. It is not through sheer force or numbers alone that we maintain our borders, but rather through our superior tactics and ships. While it is true our roots are not as deep as the Federation, we have been a pillar for this galaxy for ages, and we shall outlast the others long into the future. There was a time when we isolated ourselves fully from the others and worked only within our borders, but that time has long since passed. The threats to our mandate are numerous and great. If you desire to help us defend our vision of society, the Sovereign Navy is always looking for worthy pilots. Thank you for your time, traveler. Now to capitalism. It's time for the capitals to be isted. Yes, you heard me right. They will make me money. A new face. Excellent. Welcome to the trade union mission on the Citadel. It is such a privilege to speak to a new member of our galactic community. I think this is supposed to be just someone like screaming at your face. I've not actually chosen that option because I've never read it like that. I apologize for my excitedness, but I have such wonderful opportunities to share with you. What kind of opportunities? You may have heard of my employer, the Interstellar Trade Union. We are not the largest trade and economic organization. No, we are the largest trade and economic organization in the galaxy. Exciting! Is it not? We operate out of Union Station, on Harbour, a beautiful system, not to mention prime real estate, just a few jumps from the core systems. Please note that Harbour itself is a core system. This text was written over a year or two ago, when certain systems weren't core, although I think Harbour may have literally still been core then. We are a neutral entity, of course, so no matter what the galactic landscape looks like, you can always count on us to turn a profit. Whether it's mining, spice running, or cargo transport, we can help you out. You'll especially be interested in our exclusive lines of hauling and mining spacecraft. They're the best in the galaxy! Not correct! Technically, there's a lot to do in this galaxy, but perhaps the most exciting opportunities are the ones that provide you with immense wealth, because you'll need it in the Depression. And that's exactly what we can do for you. Sorry, wait, no, the Depression is already kind of happening. You're gonna need a lot of money, my dude. So if you're ever out near Harbour, drop by one of our stations and pick up some contract missions. We look forward to working with you. So, it's taken about 15 minutes each mission. It's about 5 minutes more than I wanted per mission, so I'm probably not going to be able to do all of the missions unless I rush something slightly. I have a little bit of a kind of thing where I just always sit down. Hello, new here? Yes? Okay. Yeah, alright. I guess you're not a cop. I work for the Syndicate. If you've ever got some special cargo and need a place to unload it, bring it up north to us. If you ever need a fast, discreet check again, just go up north. We make good stuff. Name is Syndicate. Can't miss it. It's the only core system in non-secure space. But if you do come to visit us, be sure to either bring a fast ship, a strong one, or both. Corset won't protect you on the way. It gets pretty dicey with pirates. Oh, and if you're in trouble, oh my god. Oh, and if you're ever in trouble with the Syndicate, I can fix that up for you. If you bribe me, that is. This is a decision. Now, I've already made a decision, kind of, in a way. Because I'm basically gonna go for Alcon. Purely because of the reason of a couple things. One being, I've already got a Cavani and a Lycentian account, so I'm gonna try and get a Falcon one as well. Follow the blue dot. Talk to Lyanna Freese in manufacturing module on the lower level at Citadel. I have no idea if I'm saying the correct thing. She's right here. In the she's used for this mission and this mission only. There's another NPC that's used for like the combat mission and the combat mission only. Did they send you here to deliver the space mine? You're late. I'm gonna say sorry I need to go because I've not done that before. Sorry I need to go. I really need that mine delivered. Did they send you here to deliver the space mine? You're late. Oops. Oh. You weren't sent here to deliver my requested equipment? Oh, that's a shame. My name is Lyanna Priest. I'm the foreman of the Citadel's industrial modules. Refining, manufacturing, repairs. All me. I do it with my bare hands and I do it quickly. So you better damn thank me because... God. My life is... hell. Anyway. We've started having issues with drone incursions that I'm trying to beef up our defenses by laying a trap for a fire team we saw passing through a nearby cluster. I submitted a requisition days ago, but apparently no one on this junk heap has a single space mine to lend our effort. Is there anything we can do? I suppose if you want to, you could help me gather some materials and we could just make the space mine ourselves, you know? It'll be a big ground-up job. You'll need to mine or refine and manufacture the item. Do you think you can handle that? Without a doubt. The thing is weird because literally 2 of the things that I need to do, she does. Anyway, go to docking bays. Get in your Stratos. Go to Bantam. Right, I'm going to go over just quickly a few controls. W is forward, S is backwards. Your forward thrust will be saved. Yeah, essentially between, I don't know, maybe a quarter. There's essentially above 1/4 and below 3/4. You have the highest amount of agility your ship can have. But if you go to maximum, then it's less. And you'll kind of feel a bit of resistance. This is more how stuff will act in an atmosphere, which is a bit weird. But whatever. Let's actually get down to the mining. I'll also say that E makes your ship shift down and Q makes it go up. A is, of course, your roll, then mouse for yaw and pitch. You can combine those 2 inputs, and you can do some pretty decent stuff. Your agility might actually affect your kind of turning capacity. Well, it does actually. I mean, your shifting capacity when you use like E and Q. If you're doing something like warping, then X will cancel the warp. I'm pretty sure it also does a couple other things. Yeah, if you try and do fancy stuff like me, then even I just kind of sometimes don't. I'm not able to. It's pretty slow as mining like this. But it'll get you the basic ore you need for some things, including space mines. Now, onto the Coralite. This essentially is just introduction to mining and a little bit on manufacturing. Now, I have mined 20 pieces of ore, now I get the title Rookie Miner. Go. Actually, I'll just be a sec and show you actually. Oh, yeah, it is 20. There is a really weird thing with this. This isn't accurate at all for your career titles. So I'm going to select pilot because I don't want to show people my bad stuff compared to my normal account. Anyway, let's continue mining. You of course need to mine 33 ore in total for the starting mission, which can be done in about 20 seconds with a Yukon, the highest mine rate thing in the game. It's just over 90 ore a minute, therefore meaning it goes in about 18 seconds actually. But yeah, that's of course with that's about max skills. I don't have the last level on one of my skills, so my mine rate is about 1 or 2% lower, actually meaning that it's closer to 92 ore per minute. Oh, frick. I will say that after a little bit, I say a little bit, after a bit in space, the ore will disappear because lag can be produced if you just mine a crap ton of ore and none of it goes away. You can even produce lag on lower end PCs with a Yukon, just with how it works with the massive amount of ore. If you go for strip miners, then you've got like 80 ore in a minute, and after about maybe 1 to 5 minutes, I don't remember how long it is exactly, but yeah, after about that long, you will get them despawning. I have now mined the required ore. I'm going to go to the Citadel. So I have been recording for the past 56 minutes. It's not going to be as long for you guys, but it's still going to be similarly long, maybe 50 minutes or so. So I'm going to specifically go to the lower level, which is in between manufacturing, which is this module. All manufacturing looks the same, all modules look the same, and repair bay, which looks like this. I'm going to specifically in the next combat mission to go ahead and take damage. The reason for this is because I'm going to show you the repair bay, because it doesn't really tell you about it in this mission or in the next mission, but I will be including all of the missions and I will be saying a couple extra bits as well. Essentially, here is the refinery. It is the one with the massive, like, orangey, yellowy, red cylinders. The red terminal is the refining terminal. This is where you refine ore. This is where you need to go. The yellow terminal is the scrapping one, where you break down certain things, such as modules, subsystems, and turrets, and ships, into the components required to make them. Now it will tell you to go to manufacturing. Go to the crafting terminal and create the only thing you can create. I'm pretty sure they specifically made it so that this is the cheapest thing in the entire game. I will also say, though, space mines can be useful. If you are in a really weird situation in combat, sometimes it's useful to have space mines. Get maybe 5 or so. Man, it's good. Now, go back to this person, and yeah. Basically, the mine they wanted was delivered while you went and did stuff. It's loaded on transport. They thank you, and they say, have the mine, give you 500 credits, and give you 25 standing. Couple things. Career. Standing and LP. Standing, max 5,000, minimum 2,000. At 1,500 you become an enemy, at 500 you become suspicious. There's then things like at tier 1, which is 500, you become an associate. It will tell you these things here for the positive ones. Like at tier 3, which is 2,500, you become an ally. At tier 5, which is 4,500, you become a hero. If you get hero with every single faction, you get a title. It's the same with enemy with every single faction. This is extremely hard because it's near impossible to get rid of your Corsac standing. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the mission which gives you the most. Last. Prepare for combat. Essentially, you need to go to the Corsac field office. This is in between the repair bay and the refinery, and completely opposite the manufacturing. You need to go to this person, which is Eros Torelli. Corsac Captain. I haven't seen you around here before. Are you new to the Citadel? Yes, I cloned in today. Welcome to the Citadel. Always nice to see a new face around here. Even better when it's a whole new person. I'm Captain Eros Torelli. I manage the day-to-day security operations for the Citadel. I would love to stay and chat more, but we're currently in the midst of a little bit of a minor crisis. Anything I can do to help? Use the wrong voice. You know, I really shouldn't accept help from a civilian. Wait a minute. There are no civilians. What the hell am I talking about? But our security forces are stretched a little thing. We lost contact with one of our patrols several hours ago. It was a routine mission. Nothing out of the ordinary. Or so we thought. Anyway, all our local pilots are off taking care of the other matters. And long-range comms are undergoing maintenance. I have no other options. If you're willing to help me find that missing patrol, I can compensate you for your time. Happy to do what I can help, Captain. Yes, I did just use that voice. Go to the last known location of the patrol. Travel to Aegis and use the quick walk menu to find it. So, this mission is going to be one of 6 systems. Concord, Triage, Bastion, Guard, Aegis, or Shield. All of the core systems surrounding the Citadel. And this mission is technically the worst thing to happen in the entire game in terms of Corsac. And the drones, at least. Grab your Stras, spawn it, and it's time to go and kill shit. I can do many voices. Not all of them work. Basically, this is the first time you're going to be system warping. You've got to charge and then jump with system warping, so it'll take a little bit longer. As you can see, your speed goes above your maximum warp speed. And I'll take a little bit for you to exit the system. I've not seen a single person with a tag yet. Anyway, there's a prepare for combat mission. This mission, well, you need to go to it. This is only available in the this mission, basically. This warp point's only available in this mission. Search the record field for what happened. Somewhere there's going to be something called the Corsac Black Box. Here. Access check logs. As usual for a system this close to the core, it is the core, we have not found any unusual activity. Captain Torelli will be pleased to note that this asteroid field is... Wait, Biggs, do you see that reading? We need to get out of here now before... End of log. It's an ambush. Destroy the attacking drones. I'm not gonna attack. These are drone-like fires. You're not supposed to find a single drone in core. That's an old Cavani ship model. And I think that's an old Licentian ship model. I'm gonna try and get myself hurt by a lot here. It's gonna take a long time for this to happen. So I'm probably gonna cut a little bit of it. Yeah, these drones are actually just bad. They're missing like 50% of their shots, which is really bad. Below 20% shields, they will say shield critical. I'm gonna make sure it goes below 99% so that it's actually noticeable. You can die doing this, by the way. Right, now I'm below 90%. It's probably going to be enough. I'm actually just going to let him do a little firing run. Anyway, after you destroy the drones, return to Citadel. I've taken 18% hull. I'm hoping this is enough to show you how the repair bay works. I wanted to include this in the first episode, and generally just in this series, because I see so many people being confused at how this works. It's actually sad and mildly annoying, but also really annoying. Towards the fact that it doesn't tell you how to use it properly. Not in this mode, anyway. You go up to it, you get close to it. If you're damaged on your hull, then it'll slowly repair you. If it's a really small amount, you'll probably just hear like... Right, I've also got an example of a tag. This is a tag for a faction. Information. This is a description. It's by RZ, which is a pretty well-known person in the game. What else? There is also a question mark, FAQ stuff, helping guidance basically. Security status stuff will tell you basically what you need to do. No stations, single server, PvP. Faction warfare, single server, PvP. Single server, PvP. Single server, no PvP. Multiple server, no PvP. Duels can be done in core and secure. And nowhere else. Oh yeah, a couple last things. One, if you press Alt, then you can move your camera in a kind of free cam way. It does lock up at about a 170-degree point. And then, I don't know, maybe like 80-degree, no, 100-degree point there. So it's pretty good, but it can't get everywhere. Now, I can't really do anything with this. But oh, interesting. I've changed that since I last did this. Anyway. Go to the close-up field office. I somehow went in the wrong docking bay. Probably because I just kind of went ahead and looked at the complete wrong thing. Field office. Go to the sky, press F for him. You're back already? Did you find out what happened at patrol? Oh my god, why the hell am I I have no idea why I did that. The patrol was ambushed. Ambushed by drones? I never thought I would see the day drones would venture into the core. Now here we are. The drones have always been a threat, but they've always been on the fringes of society. For an attack to occur so close, it could be the start of something much worse. Corsair will need to get to the bottom of this before it gets out of hand. You're proven in combat, which is more than a lot of our pilots can say. If you want to help us figure out what's going on, you know where to find me. No 500 credits, 50 standing. If you do buy faction items, you cannot buy a faction item until you get to the required tier for it. If there is something to do with the factions military, then military level will also impact. If you go to the upper level, there is a marketplace, but please note, the marketplace does not have every basic item for sale. And by that I mean certain items are only available at certain marketplaces. This is a general one containing a lot of them, but not all of them, such as the basic ships. Because of inflation, there's a literal Hyrax at 1.5 times price. Come on. There is a Falcon at 1.5 times price. It's pretty much just there's loads of stuff at 1.5 times price. Like the Zenith. Anyway. What I like to say to you when you do this is, don't buy from the marketplace for your first ship or any of the basic ships. What are the basic ships? Well, the basic ships are the Badger, the Aurora, the Falcon, Hyrax, Marlin, Saber, Strauss, I guess, but you can't sell that. And the Zenith. I think I've gone over all of them. Now, if you want to get a cheap ship, then you need to get in your Stratos, and you need to warp somewhere. That somewhere is, as of now, Aegis. Aegis has a good old commercial space station with a ship vendor. A ship vendor, well, that thing sells ships. Or at least some of them. All the ones I just listed, it sells them. The Hyrax, the Marlin, the Badger, the, think, Saber, Aurora, Falcon, and the Zenith. I find that hard to say because I basically never use any of the basic ships. Planet 2 is where the commercial station is, as is basically said by Planet 3 has a hammer / a T, and Planet 2 has a C or a credit symbol. That means industrial or commercial station. There's a couple other station types which exist, which will have their own symbols, but they're the main ones you'll run into until you go into other areas of space, other than core, or in some secure systems near core. Now, here's the ship vendor. All of the marketplaces in a station are connected, so you don't have to go to the ship vendor, but I'm doing it just because I can. Here are all the ships, and their buy prices. They are, of course, lower. The Falcon is 2,000 credits instead of 3,000. The Hyrax is 800 credits instead of 1,200 credits. You can already see they're pretty... They're a lot cheaper. You can buy the most expensive ship here. You could only buy the cheapest ship at the Citadel. You can also buy basic turrets here. All of the tier 1 ones that I know. There's also some basic tier 1 and tier 2 weapons here. You can buy space mines. And you can buy clothing. And you can buy armor. That's pretty much all of it, though. Now I'm going to go to ships. You guys will probably want to choose your own thing. Once you've done all the tutorials, you get 25 credits. That's enough to buy at least one ship. I would ask you to choose your own ships, because essentially, I'm going to give you a little bit of an explanation. This shows you the recipe for something, the time you modeled it here, and there's rig slots, subsystems, turret slots, etc., etc. For anything with minor damage, basically ignore that. Yeah. The Marlin is a fast speed, fast acceleration, fast agility, fast warp speed, fast warp charge time, with low-ish signal range. Better than... It's the worst minor, but it's better than every non-minor. It's got energy, get onto that in a later episode. It's got 180 hull, 0.5 deflection, which means all damage to the shields is reduced by 0.5. And it's got 2 shield regen, meaning it regenerates 2 of its shield points every single second. It's got 75 shield points. It's a small ship class, meaning all small ship classes have a cockpit, and they're spawnable in the docking bay. They also have their own special control system, reserved only for small ships. This is fast. It's pretty flimsy, but it's extremely fast and can be used very stealthily. It upgrades into the Mako, which has even more stealth and more speed. And more warp capabilities. It's extremely good at evading stuff. But there's some things such as the Falcon, which have higher speeds. I'm pretty sure the Zenith also has a slightly higher speed. So the Zenith, its upgraded version, and the Falcon is upgraded version. they can catch up with the Marlin and the Mako. But they're like the only ships in the game, pretty much, apart from a few others that can catch up, which is why this is so good as a basic ship. There's then the Badger, which has the second highest small ship mining rate. The upgraded version has the highest. So this is essentially the miner's ship. It can have slightly more defense at the upgraded version. It has more mining rate. It has less shield, same shield regen. It's only 25 less shield though, and this has 80 more hull. It's also got, instead of deflection, which is damage reduction to shield, armor, 0.5, which reduces the damage to your hull by 0.5. There's then slightly better engine capacity, worse energy regen. There's then speed, which is still pretty respectable. This is faster than your fighters still. But there's a few other ships, actually, that can catch up to this, which you can't buy at the start. Its warp speed is 1.4, warp charge time is 5. Warp charge time is really a thing you need to worry about in things such as unsecure and wild. If you're doing mining in there, then if you have a really, really small warp charge time, you can just, as soon as you see someone which you think might try and kill you, you can just basically instantly warp. And you'll be able to outwarp them in something like a Marlin or a Mako. But with the Badger, it's much higher, at 5 seconds, which is actually the warp charge time of some other ships. Like, this one is a saber. It's a fighter, and it's got better warp charge time. Same with the Aurora. These two have 3 seconds. The Hyrax has 4. It's the worst out of all of them, but that doesn't exactly matter. It does have a better warp speed than the Hyrax, which in one way is better. It has better warp speed than pretty much every ship here, apart from the Marlin. So the mines have good warp speed, and sometimes sacrifice on warp charge time. So Badger is for basically you want to mine more and get stuff quicker. It doesn't have any stealth. It's not the best at speed. The only real good thing it's good at is mining rate. Marlin is essentially your survivability thing. You'll be able to get away from a few more things, and it's pretty good. Then we go for the only basic hauler in the game, the Hyrax. This is pretty useful as there are hauling missions in the game. I'm going to see if there is a field office here and see if I can go and grab one just to show you it. There is a field office. I will not actually be doing this mission, as that's for a later thing, but I will go ahead and show you it. If there is a tier 0 here, there is a tier 0. Essentially, look for work, and hopefully it shows up. The office supply run. There is another counterpart to this, which is essentially the inverse. It requires haulers. It's basically just pick up a couple things, bring it here. The other one is pick up a couple things here and bring it somewhere else. So this is a fetch quest, and then the other is essentially just a fetch quest, but in the opposite direction. They require haulers because cargo. Storage terminal is a useful thing. It means that you can take things out of your inventory and into storage. You can have a total of 1,000 unique items. Same with your inventory. But then there's capacity for your inventory. Now, in this video, I'm not going to actually show you what ship I'm going to buy, but I'm going to talk about it. Right, basically, the Falcon has the highest maneuverability and the highest speed. It also has the highest energy capacity and, well, yeah, the lowest energy regeneration. Slightly stealthier, and with its modules, it's more focused on engines. It has the least damage, though, and I'm pretty sure the least health, and the least regeneration of its health as well. So it's essentially the flimsy ship which can outmaneuver everything, I say that with a couple asterisks. Not asterisks. With an asterisk, actually, yeah, because the upgraded version can outmaneuver it, and so can upgraded versions of other ships. Like the max version of the Zenith can outmaneuver that as well. But yeah, essentially, this can quite easily catch pretty much anything in the game, and if you use it right, can obliterate anything in the game, apart from extremely high health ships. Then the Zenith is essentially something which has 30 more damage a second. Great. This is another interceptor, so it's mainly focused on maneuverability and speed again. So it has pretty high speed, acceleration, agility, warp speed, and warp charge time. It has slightly more signal because it's less stealthy, and it's got a defense rig instead because it's less of a maneuverable ship, and more of a tank and damage dealer. So it's got 30 more damage a second, another 100 shield points, which is pretty good, and 1.2 extra shield regeneration. It has 30 less energy capacity though, but it has 1.8 energy regen, which is the best of the basic fighters. There's then the Saber, which is the absolute maximum damage dealing tank. Not tank. I've been playing too much World of Tanks. Maximum damage dealing ship. 260 at base. That's more than 100 extra than the Falcon. This is extremely high, although it has next to no shield and a high amount of hull. It's got a lot of hull and a lot of damage. That's the main thing about this. It's also not stealthy at all, and it has no engine or reactor rigs, meaning you can't improve its engine capacity or regen, of which is mid-range, but its engine capacity is actually, I think, the worst. It is the worst out of all of them. So, some things aren't usable with it. Anyway, then there's the Aurora, which sacrifices 40 damage, but it's got an extra 300 shield points, and double the shield regeneration, and it sacrifices half of its armor for a 0.5 deflection, although it does have 400 less hull points, so overall it has less health, but more of it is a more manageable health pool because it automatically regenerates. It also still has a significant amount of damage at 220, which is 40 higher than the Zenith, 70 higher than the Falcon, and 40 lower than the Saber. It has slightly more maneuverability and capabilities in terms. It has more capabilities in terms of maneuverability than the Saber, with an extra 20 speed, 30 acceleration, and 15 agility, as well as 0.1 warp speed. It also has slight more stealth, and instead of more damage, it goes for instead extra energy, which is pretty nice with this because it's got mid-range energy regeneration and pretty respectable energy capacity. They're both pretty good. I think it's the second highest energy capacity and the second highest energy regeneration, but there are also things with the same energy regeneration and possibly the same energy capacity. Actually, no, it's pretty good with that. It has 3 hard points. The Saber has 4, the Falcon and the Zenith have 2. The Badger has a mining hardpoint, same with the Marlin. The Hyrax has a point defense turret. Point defense turrets are new, and yeah. I would actually say, go for the Hyrax and something else, unless you want the Falcon or the Saber. Then go for them. Anyway, that's pretty much it now. Bye. 1 hour and 27 minutes, and it'll be edited.